Hello, welcome. Hello, Mark. Hello, everyone. And as we wait for others to join, if you want to begin to allow yourself to connect in the field, we're going to be creating this field of consciousness between all of us today, everyone who's going to be online. And so just to kind of like move into that space of presence and awareness and also of collective consciousness with other people who will be joining online. So today we thought that it might be supportive, helpful to have a conversation around change. And I know it's not necessarily a two-way conversation in the sense that we can speak live together. That said, please feel free to engage, to write, in the comment section, anything that you'd like to share. I'll be inviting some questions that I've prepared to bring you into the conversation, to help you connect to what change is for you and how you can experience change in your life, and also understanding why we don't experience change, why things sometimes don't change in certain areas of our lives, or why things take maybe more time than we would like them to take for change to happen, and how to work on that, how to be able to release any subconscious parts of our beings that are not in alignment with the change that we consciously want, right? So kind of like reconciling conscious and subconscious so that we can bring change in a very holistic and conscious way in our lives, so that it's sustainable and it's also it continues through time, right? Sometimes we bring change and then we go back into old patterns. So we want to swiftly, lovingly, consciously move into change as to be able to then remain in that new energy that we're inviting and cultivating and embodying in our lives. And we'll do a practice today all around change, around envisioning change and how to align with the intention of changing, and then also embodying change. If we don't embody change, if we're just thinking about changing or thinking about the things that we would like to change in our lives, and we're not allowing ourselves to be in the energy of the change, then things may not change. Yes, that's a wonderful reflection, Mark. Yes, Mahatma Gandhi did say, be the change you wish to see in the world, meaning that when we internalize the change, when we embody the change, then at least our external reality is going to start to see some of that change. Of course, people have free will choice. And the more we embody change from a place of our own deep truth, not trying to control anyone, not imposing anything on anybody else, that said we're really aligned with that change, then things start to reorganize themselves around us. And the people who are in alignment with the change can essentially be in that space where they're supporting the change. And people who may not be in alignment with the change, they might, the relationship dynamics with them might change, or they might not be in our lives as a result of just a misalignment or a dissonance between us and whoever is not in alignment with the change we're bringing into our lives. So we'll talk about that. So a couple of things, a couple of announcements. As you know, we have 3 different courses on Insight Timer, one on gratitude, one on forgiveness, and a new one on conscious healing. So if that's something that you're interested in, those courses are available to you. And those live Q&As are an opportunity for people taking the courses also to come and ask questions about what they're doing in the course, and to get clarification around anything that isn't completely clear, or some areas where they might get stuck. as they're bringing change into their lives, and subconscious parts maybe resisting the change. So that's another aspect, by the way, of change. We can have resistance to change in subconscious parts of our system that then prevents change from coming online. In addition to that, we have 3 new meditations since the last live. One is a meditation on softening. So really bringing this energy of softness. You could compare this energy to the energy of Kuan Yin, or Mother Mary, or also the White Tara in Buddhism. So all these different deities or embodiments of that nurturing, gentle, really soft energy that is available to us. That meditation is really offering you the opportunity to cultivate that, to embody that, and to be more in that energy of softness throughout the day. There's another meditation called Spiritual Healing Vortex. And this meditation is very helpful to clear old patterns of thoughts, old habits, old processes of emotion, of relationship dynamic, of relating to yourself and others. So it's a really helpful meditation. And then the brand new one that got released today is Recall Your Energy. And we actually did that meditation maybe a month ago or so on this live, and we've extended it. So instead of being a short meditation, we made it like a 50-minute meditation of really just allowing oneself to be in this space of recalling your energy to yourself and realizing where your energy might be draining based upon past relationship dynamics or connections that you may have had with others. So those are the announcements. And we're going to actually start with the meditation right now, unless there are any questions about what we just shared. If there's anything that is unclear or that you would like to understand more deeply, please feel free to ask. Let's do a little meditation. So what we will do, thank you, Lorianne. What we will do right now is we will allow ourselves to envision change. So if you'll right now take a moment, so if you'll begin by just closing your eyes and finding a place of comfort where your body is supported so that everything can relax. Even if that means just laying down, you don't need the visual right now. So whatever will help you to relax more deeply, to connect to your breath, to be present. And as you intend to be present and to relax, if you'll just allow for any area in your body that is not relaxed to become more relaxed to the degree that that's possible in this moment. And if you'd like to use your breath to take you deeper, if you'll simply just lengthen your exhales in a way that maintains this relaxation. So you're not forcing your breath, you're simply lengthening your exhales, emptying the lungs of whatever energy you may be holding, and allowing the next inhale to be relaxed, bringing more energy, new energy into your lungs as you release more through the exhale. And as you breathe with the intention of relaxing, of letting go, of releasing anything that is not serving you in this moment, if you'll tune into an intention that you have in this moment to change something in your life. Maybe it's a pattern or a habit that you've inherited through your conditioning and that is not supporting joy, peace, happiness, relationship, harmony. Maybe it's just something in your life that maybe it's your state of health, abundance, career, relationship, anything in your life that is right now not in balance, not in harmony. And if you'll allow yourself to be at peace with what is right now, to not be in conflict with the way that things are, to simply be aware that you are intending and choosing to bring change in that area of your life. And if you'll use your breath, the exhale, to release anything that pertains to the past that would tell you that it will continue to be this way, that it can change, that you can change it, any pain associated with what is in this moment, any judgment, any reactivity, blame, shame, guilt. You just allow yourself on the exhale to clear that, to let that go, to choose to let go of what is no longer serving you. And as you release all the obstacles, all the resistance to change, if you'll simply begin to see, to envision what is possible. If you'll allow yourself to really connect with the change that you wish to see and to experience. And begin to receive guidance as to the next step. Maybe the change won't happen overnight. That said, there might be a next step that is obvious, that is available to you in this moment to begin this journey towards this change, to bring this change into being. And if you'll take that step right now and embody that step, whatever that step is for you, maybe that step takes you right into the change, or maybe it takes you a tenth of the way towards the change, or halfway towards the change. And just connect to how you will feel when you change, when you implement that step, that change. When you are in the energy of that new reality. wherever you feel peace, joy, a sense of freedom, liberation, happiness, expansion, love, gratitude, whatever the feeling, the energy, the emotion is, just allow yourself to feel it right now. And as you allow yourself to feel it, you are changing your energy. You are changing the information that you are sharing in your field. You are opening yourself to receive the change. And so as you raise your vibration by receiving the change right now, you are actually creating the path to this change. And in this moment, as you embody the change, as you receive it, as you resonate with it, as your energy aligns with it, and you feel whatever feeling you've been wanting to feel from the change, you are attracting, you are bringing this change into reality. You don't have to wait for the change to happen externally. You can change inside yourself and receive the external change, see it reflected in your environment as a result. And so if you'll bring one or both of your hands on your heart, and honor this process in yourself of change that you're inviting, that you're embodying, that you are choosing from your heart, from your soul, and feeling grateful for yourself for doing so. For allowing change in your life, for getting out of the way so that change can occur naturally, easily, and allow yourself to receive any message, any guidance around this change. And feel gratitude for this guidance, for these messages, these insights that you're receiving in your life to support you into changing in any way that will bring about more joy, greater health, happiness, energy, abundance, all kinds of success, whatever success is to you. And to feel deep peace, presence, joy in your heart in every moment. And if you let this energy that you're embodying just flow into your field, into the space that you're in, the time that you're in, into all of your relationships, your work, your health, and when you're ready, you can gently and lovingly open your eyes. So if you have any questions about this short meditation, or if you want to share with others any reflections about this process, what came up for you, what you experienced, whether you were able to feel and embody change, or if you felt resistance or old limiting beliefs or fears kind of come up through this process, which is normal. It's part of it. Please feel free to share anything and ask anything about it. And I'm going to begin to put some questions in the chat about around change, so we can have a conversation around change. So the first question is, what does it mean to change? And when we say that, it's not like a in the sense of a structured answer, as there's not a right or wrong answer to this. It's more like, what does it mean for you to change? How have you looked at change? How have you related to change in your life before? Or in this moment after this meditation? Hello, Gary. So, what is change? What does it mean to change? How do we change? All of that. Anything that you'd like to understand more about change. And the reason why we chose to talk about change today is that oftentimes people will feel stuck, or they'll want to change, and then it will seem to take time, or they might feel frustrated because while they consciously want and intend to change, it seems to not be happening. And there are good reasons for that, meaning that we have a subconscious mind, and our subconscious mind, if we haven't changed, so there's a saying that we have, which is like, if things are not changing, there's something blocking the flow of the change. So it means that if we really wanted to change, then we would change. So then it's about, without judgment, understanding what in ourselves at the subconscious level is not allowing the change to happen. And that's a very, it's a deep question to ask oneself. And it can also feel like a frustrating question, because we can say, well, I do want to change. And then all these things happen. And we can even feel victimized that the change is not happening, which is then more of the energy of the past and the old, and us kind of getting in our own way of the change. So the way that we relate to change and the way that we choose to look at change is going to really either support change or delay change, as in, bring up different resistance to change. So Gary is asking a great question. He's saying, is it true that when you make changes towards the positive, that you will not go backwards? So yes and no. So yes, in the sense that, and ultimately yes, in a non-dualistic way of expressing yes, in the sense that everything is always changing, and everything is impermanent. So actually, the ones that's not the one in us, or the ones in us that are not seeing the change, are the parts that are actually stuck in time, stuck in the past, replaying out the same perspectives, habits, patterns, thoughts, emotions, beliefs, fears. So change is always happening. That said, if we, for instance, if we believed that we're not good enough, and then as a result of that, that kind of created a lens through which we look at reality, where through the lens of that, we would experience ourselves as not good enough. Well, if we don't change that perspective, that limiting beliefs about ourselves, then we will continue the same experiences. We don't have the opportunity to change. It's that by holding the belief, by continuing to resonate with a limiting belief that is not actually a reflection of reality, then that's going to just create a filter on everything. And so then that's what we experience. So that's one answer to your question. And there's other answers to that, Gary. So yes, when we begin to invite a positive mindset or a neutral mindset or an equanimous mindset, and also an embodied, not just at the level of mind, just at the level of emotion, of course, things are going to change. And then the other part of that about going backwards. So there's something called recursive or reiterative learning. And as human beings, it's normal that we learn recursively. So if we haven't learned all dimensions and aspect of a dimension of our life or a process in our lives, then we will have learned maybe a piece that will start to bring some change. And then if we haven't actually completely and comprehensively approach this dimension of our lives or this aspect of our lives from many different perspectives and points of view, then we can still and it looks like we're going backwards. It's not really that we're going backwards, because if we have the judgment, and if we have a specific way of looking at, for instance, that dimension or that aspect or that pattern that we're wanting to change, if we're looking at it in a way that is static, then we may not see the subtle changes that have occurred, and it can look like we're going backwards, when in fact what's happening is that there's a dimension, an aspect, a specific part of what we're intending to change that hasn't been completely understood. And so it looks like we're going backwards, that we're stepping back into the same behavior. And what it is actually we're missing a piece of the puzzle to actually completely resolve the behavior and truly change. And so we go back to work on that, to understand that, right? Realizing that's really important, that when we go backwards, we're not really going backwards. That said, when it appears that we go backwards, what's happening is that the lesson is not completely, has not yet been completely integrated. And so now we have the opportunity to go back and to realize what we had not understood, and to integrate that piece of information, that piece of consciousness into the process, and then the change truly occurs. So, Gary, to answer your question, there comes a time where a permanent change happens, and that's when the recursive learning has completely been integrated. And now we've embodied the change, and we've understood everything there was to understand about the situation or about the pattern. And now consciousness is flowing through it and is completely releasing that pattern. So for instance, if someone in their life had believed that they were not good enough, and then they worked on that, and it was affecting many different dimensions of their life, maybe their career, maybe their relationships, maybe their abundance, maybe their health, maybe the way that they related to themselves, maybe their negative emotions. So once they really saw the false the falseness, right, of what they had believed about themselves, and they kind of like dissolved all the different points of all the different points of origin where that pattern came up as I'm not good enough. Let's say that they had something happen when they were growing up, and they believe that means I'm not good enough. Then they had something in their relationship, I'm not good enough. Then they had something in their career, I'm not good enough. All of these points of origins once they're actually understood and integrated, then the person will never ever resonate with that belief anymore. They'll never, whatever happens in their life, if someone leaves, if they don't get a promotion, if they, if their money situation is whatever way it is, and in the past they would have recorded and revalidated, oh, that means I'm not good enough, that's why that's happening. Once they've cleared the belief, then all of that illusion would really just dissolve, and they would be in this state where they find themselves like in a state of self-acceptance, self-love, self-understanding, and so it would no longer be experienced in the different dimensions of their lives, and then they would be able to actually see what is. So there's more comments here. I'm going to catch up with that. I hope that was helpful, Gary. Yes, so Gary is saying the ego mind will try to pull you back because it's afraid of a sort of ego death. Yes, so that's, one way to relate it is that, yes, the mind will kind of like want to go back to the past. And the core of this, if you can look at it from the perspective, yes, absolutely, of the ego death. And what is the ego? So the ego is our fears, our beliefs, our expectations, our judgments, our limited perspectives about reality. So our ego construct is everything that we've built in order to feel safe in the world. Whatever we've imagined, oh, well, if I believe that about myself and about world and reality and others, then I will feel safe. And ultimately, when we're doing that, we're just building a prison where whatever happens in the external that doesn't match our expectation is going to bring about pain, disappointment, disempowerment, victimization, and perpetration, and all of that. So the core of it is that when we face whatever resistance in us is not allowing us to move into the change with grace and with faith and with gratitude, when we actually face those fears or those limiting beliefs, then the change can happen naturally, and the resistance can dissolve, and we can be in a state of presence with what we're choosing to bring online. Yeah, so Anan, I don't know if it's for anonymous. We have someone here who's saying the lesson keeps occurring until it's been learned and integrated. Absolutely. Yeah. And another way to put that is that if you look at the energy centers in our bodies, the in-body chakras, and we have many chakras, more than 7 chakras. That said, if we just focus on the 7 chakras, once we've integrated the learning at each level of our system, which can be seen as different stages of our life also, because the chakras develop at different times in our lives. And there's other dimensions of that. We won't get into that because it would bring about maybe too much complexity. That said, once at all levels of your energy body, you've integrated a learning, then it's completely integrated. So that's a wonderful way to say it. Another way to express that. When the inner vibration shifts, Anon again, the outside reflects back the new reality. Absolutely. It's always from the inner to the outer. So change happens internally and then is reflected in the environment. It doesn't mean that we can't be affected by the environment, and that if we have existing patterns that we can go into resonance with what might be embodied by others or in the field of consciousness around us. It simply means that whatever is happening even externally, for it to affect us, it would mean that there's something inside of us that gets triggered and goes into resonance with what is being embodied in the field. So when inside of ourselves we're truly in alignment with whatever change we're choosing, then that change is experienced internally. It's not affected by the external, and then it starts to flow. So rather than think about your field around yourself, and some spiritual masters, by the way, can have fields that go miles and miles and miles, and I mean it like 50 miles or more. So they have this auric field, this energy field that is filled with the content of the information that they're embodying, and that informs the field around them. So, spiritual masters, for instance, if they walk into a space, everyone is going to feel that energy, and it's going to influence the energy of the space. So, instead of the field around you affecting you and defining your internal reality, when you are aligned with whatever you choose internally, then now you begin to let that energy flow into your field, into the space around you, and it begins to affect the objects, the people, the situations around you in such a way that align with your intention, with what you're holding, with the change that you're embodying. So someone is saying to Gary, we must learn to recognize the ego and tell it, to see you, but you cannot lie down. I'm not sure exactly what you mean. That said, if you want to expand on that, it sounds like a very useful comment. So I'd like to understand more, so I can comment if you'd like. And you're very welcome, Gary. And if anyone else has any question about what was expressed, so I'll ask a question, and kind of what we expressed already may already have given you the answer to that. That said, asking the questions to the group helps us integrate as a group, right? It brings that energy into our collective consciousness, our field consciousness, and then everyone can also benefit from that. So Anand, you're saying acknowledge the ego, but tell the ego you see it, but now you're listening to yourself first. Yes, that's wonderful. Absolutely. So before I bring the next question, what you're saying is very helpful in the sense that if we don't acknowledge the ego, if we don't allow ourselves to see what's essentially what the subconscious is actually feeling about the situation, or what deeply inside of ourselves we may have recorded and believed in. If we don't allow that, then we're not really transmuting that energy, and we can end up suppressing. And if we suppress the energy, then we're not going to be in a state where we're actually going to experience true and permanent change, essentially, right? So it's important to be able to see what is there, what's in the way, what's saying the resistance is essentially to the change, and to meet that energy where it's at, and to also not be influenced by it. So when we do that, we transmute the energy, and then we're able, once we've transmuted the energy, to have more energy that becomes available, because we liberate the energy when we transmute it, to be available to continue to empower the change to be integrated at more levels of our system. So that's a wonderful, wonderful reflection. Thank you for bringing that into this space. So the question here is, why is it not enough to want to change? Because you may have experienced that in your life, like wanting to change. For instance, some people wanting to break an addiction, wanting to embody a new behavior, and then it doesn't happen. And they might feel disempowered, or even judge themselves for that not happening. Yes, absolutely. When our ego And one way to say it is like unhealthy ego. Yes, that's one way to express it. So an ego that essentially where there's a lot of recordings from the past of who we've been, or what is reality, that is based upon fears, expectations, judgments, limiting beliefs, that's going to lead us to be. And think about it, if you're holding even an image, that's why we would even say ultimately we want to dissolve all ego, right? And dissolving all ego doesn't mean that we don't have an intention, and that we are not holding the space of from our soul and from our hearts, of bringing into our lives things that are supportive of continuing to grow and to heal and to evolve. And so once we realize that, when we dissolve those egoic parts of ourselves that keep us reliving the past, right? So when we're in our ego, we live in our little world, in our reality, in our essentially identified self. We identify with ourself, we identify with what we believe, the stories we've told ourselves about reality. And then of course we are contracted, like you're saying in Anon. And so we're in this contracted state of just living in that, that personal reality, that is just what we've created and imagined, and we continue to live that over and over and over again. So that is a contracted state. That's not, and when earlier on we were talking about expanding and radiating and emitting your energy into the field, your intention, information, right? The information that you embody throughout the day about who you are, what is reality, others, what your life is, what your relationships are. That is the information you hold in your field. And if you don't, if you're wanting to change, and that said, you're continuing to believe the same stories and to tell yourself the same stories about yourself, then that's the information in the field. So how can things be different, right? So why is it not enough to want to change? Because we can want to change from a place of aversion to what we're experiencing or attachment to something else. That said, that doesn't mean that we're changing the information in our field. It doesn't mean that we're changing our relationship to reality. And truly, if we want to experience change, because it happens from the inside out, it's about choosing to experience and embody new information that then gets relayed in the field and transmitted in the field. And now things can align in our environment, in our relationships, in our life with that new information. If we say, for instance, if we say, well, I want a better relationship, that said, inside of ourselves, we continue to carry the information that, we don't like this in relationship, we don't like that, we're being victimized, people are bad, people have hurt us, we'll never find a good relationship, our relationship will never get better. If that's the information we carry and we therefore transmit, then how can things change? What is an what is an aversion? What is an aversion? Is that the question? What is an aversion? Yeah, so if I understand well, sorry, the question is truncated. So, yeah, so if we are in aversion, if I understand well, if we are in a state of aversion, yes, we are in the same energy as that which we are averse to, first of all. And we're in a contracted state when we're in aversion. And aversion is also away from something. That's not you embodying change. It's you saying, I don't want that, which is very different than actually verbalizing, communicating in your field, in your heart, in your throat chakra, in your sixth chakra. It's very different than you having a vision and an embodiment of what the change, which is what we did in the opening meditation, what change is. So if we're averse to something, then we're attached to it, by the way. So we've talked in the past about attachment and aversion being two sides of the same coin. So if we are averse to something, we really attach ourselves to it, because there's a part of us that the aversion means that we have a fear of something. Maybe it was painful to us, and therefore we fear experiencing that pain again. And by fearing this experience, we actually are entangling. If we talk about it from the perspective of quantum physics, it's a form of quantum entanglement, where now we're in the energy of that thing that we're averse to, and therefore we draw it back to us over and over and over again until we become equanimous. We release that aversion or that attachment to it, and to not having the experience of it. And once we release that, then we can be free to create. That's why in a lot of our meditations, if you're doing some of our meditation, then you might have seen that we're always inviting you to release, to liberate the old energy, and then to create what you want in your heart and soul, what you're choosing and intending in your heart and soul. So both work together. To have enough energy to create and to bring into reality something new, you must liberate the old energy of aversion or attachment that would continue to lead you to experience the same old reality over and over and over again. I hope that's all helpful. Are there any more questions? We have about 10 more minutes. So we can either continue to answer your questions, any questions, whether that has to do with change or anything else, or we can do a closing meditation. I'll give you just a few moments, and whoever would like to just give their suggestions, their preference as to what we do next. So earlier on, we did for the opening, for whoever was here during the opening, we did an opening meditation, Jessica meditation also, of envisioning the change and embodying. And right now we're going to go a little bit deeper into that. And we're going to integrate a practice that is actually a practice that's derived from Buddhist teachings of the Lord of Purification, Vajrasattva. It's not a religious belief or anything like that. It's more like a process of embodiment of a certain energy where things get purified and cleared from your field. And in this, if you just allow yourself to feel like something is flowing down your crown, a pure, white energy, and that as it flows down, that things kind of like flow out of your skin and your body and your field, and you're just liberating yourself from the core, from the very central channel, and then just being expelled from the body, so that anything that is not in alignment with embodying change, with you experiencing change, can be cleared and healed and released from your field. And more of your energy can be in alignment with the change that you wish to experience. So if you'll find a place where you are comfortable, and gently close your eyes. And just relax. Maybe recall a moment in the past where you were very relaxed, a place that you can go to, something that you do that brings you into this space of deep relaxation almost instantly. And if you'll bring that energy into your being right now. So choosing to be relaxed, choosing for the tension at the surface level and the deeper levels and layers of your being to simply dissolve. Allowing your breathing to be smoother, relaxing your face, your neck, your shoulders, relaxing your chest, your abdomen, your back, relaxing the pelvic floor, relaxing every part of your body. And allowing through this relaxation for anything that you're carrying from the past to begin to leave your field, so that you're connected already to this presence that allows for the past to simply dissolve and clear, so that you're not the one holding on to the past. You're not keeping it in, you're not contracting around anything of the past, and you're just simply letting go and opening and softening and relaxing deeper and deeper. And if you'll allow yourself in your heart, from the space of your heart, to become aware of something that you wish to bring into your being, into your life, into your relationships, whatever change you're wishing to really embody in this moment. And if for a moment you'll envision it from your sixth chakra, what it looks like, what it is, how you see it. And maybe at the beginning you might see it as distant, even maybe supposedly not possible, not reachable, and maybe even in distance, physical distance to your third eye, like something far away from you. And if you'll simply imagine, feel, experience that it's actually coming closer and closer to your third eye. And instead of being a distant vision, something in the distant future, something to hope for, instead if you'll just bring it really close to you, right in front of you, and you see it completely. And if there's any noise in your mind that's saying, no, it's not happening, it will never happen, I can't, it won't, just be aware of that and let the light flowing down your crown, the light of purification, the light of healing, just clear that from your mind space, your head's space, releasing that from that part of your energy system, all the no's, all the limiting beliefs, Just see them dissolving and clearing from your head cavity out into your field and out and completely dissolved in this light. And all that remains is that clear vision of what's possible, what you choose, the change that you intend. And as you bring this change into clarity and real close to you, if you'll just embody it in the area of your head, in the area of your third eye. And as you feel the light, as you feel the energy of that change, the vibration of that change, if you'll just allow it to begin to move into the field around your head cavity. And let the energy flow out and into the field. Now if you'll connect to the level of your heart and allow yourself to feel the change from your heart. Feeling from your heart, maybe from an experience of gratitude, of joy, of love. Feeling the change from the space of your heart, embodying it in your heart. Having the experience at the level of your heart of what that change is to you, what it represents. The energy that it brings into your heart. And maybe as you connect to your heart and you connect to that change and you feel that change in your heart, maybe some words come to you and you wish to express them to yourself. Words of love, of gratitude, words of joy for the change that you are choosing and bringing into reality by choosing this change. And expressing from your heart, in your own words, what your heart feels about this change, what you feel about this change in your heart. And as you allow yourself to experience this change in your heart, if you'll also feel the energy emanating from your heart, radiating from your heart into the field. The energy of that change is not just embodied by your mind and your envisioning, it's also embodied by your heart. This state of embodiment from your heart. And let that energy flow into your field, flow into your relationships, into your life, into all areas and dimensions of your life where you wish to bring this change into being. And if you'll allow for this energy from your mind space and your heart space to now feel your entire being, your body, and feel what you will feel like as the change happens, embodying the change in your face, in your body, in your gut, in your arms, in your legs, in your entire body, just feeling what it feels like to be in this new body that is embodying this change. To embody the change from the top of your head all the way down to your toes, and to let anything that is not in alignment with this change flow out of you, clear, release from your field, so that you can be in a state of internal congruence and resonance with the change that you intend. And if you'll just take a few moments to be in this space of change that you're choosing in mind, heart, body, and soul. From a space of equanimity, of presence, stillness and silence, simply choosing something new, a new experience. And allowing your whole being to be resonant with that new experience. And anything and everything that is not aligned to simply dissolve, clear, and release. And in whichever way you choose, if you'd like, you can bring the thumb and the index finger of both of your hands together as a method of anchoring and integrating this change. To remember what it feels like in your body, in your mind, in your heart, in your soul. To embody this new experience, this change. To be connected to it, to be one with it. So that any time that anything from your subconscious mind comes up and takes you out of that experience, that you can come back to it. You can anchor it more deeply. You can integrate it more deeply. And you can transmute, heal, and release anything that is not resonant with the new experience, with the new reality that you're choosing. And if you'll take a deep breath and make space in your body for this new experience, anchoring it even more deeply, expanding into it. Feeling grateful for it. And allowing it to truly be all that your consciousness is aware of this new experience. To completely disconnect from the past and from the pain of the past. so that all that is and all that remains is this new experience. And realizing that with every new experience and every new lesson, you invite yet another new experience, and another, and another. And surrendering to that process of evolution, of self-love that brings about constant change, healing, and transformation. And when you are ready, you can gently and lovingly open your eyes. Well, thank you so much for joining me today. I know we ran a little bit late. I hope you enjoyed it. And again, if you enjoyed it and it was beneficial to you and you are able, if you would donate so we can continue to also offer this time for everyone and continue to offer meditations and courses on Insight Timer. We appreciate your donations and your love and your support very much. And we will be here next week. So in February, we have 2 more weeks. And after that, we are taking 2 weeks away where we'll be traveling, and then we'll come back again. We hope this was helpful to you and beneficial to you. And we're sending you so much love. Thank you so much for being here today. Many blessings to all of you.